8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Well, I say go fuck yourself. Then ask the question, could I kill a man? I would enjoy myself. You can't disguise evil eyes that burn a hole in my head. This devil man and his master plan. We feel so misled, so I say, rise up, take all back. Rise up, take it all back. Rise up, hope you all understand. We got to take it all back again.
These people are not going to take it any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Same hat in Washington. Okay, that should have worked. I keep forgetting since I use voice mod and having the the voice changer stuff if I want to. Like,
I can sound like a chipmunk. That's always fun.
I had gotten that program a while ago, and it's great for the gaming channel, but I don't really do much with it here, just because it's like, I don't know, it's not really appropriate. Anyway, thought we'd drop the green screen for tonight. Y'all get a look at the backdrop. We actually got rid of the hydroponic thing. Well, not rid of it, but we moved it out of here. It's outside now because we haven't been using it for a long time. So we figured, well, why have it in here? It just clutters up the place. So that's going to be Riddle Girl's desk back there. She'll be here later in the evening. I don't know exactly when, but she's visiting our neighbor, Joyce. You remember Joyce and Dale. Dale was the one that had cancer. He unfortunately did pass, but Joyce still can use our help, and we can be a blessing to her and her family. So that's exactly what we're going to do every chance we get. Unfortunately, we have to do it like right now, and I'm not able to be there, but Riddle Girl is, so that's good. Okay. First, like always, says OMG. Where is everyone? Well, as I said before, we have a small group, a very small group. On Poison Stinger 1, we have a little more traffic there because people, those are for not the hardcore fans, right? They subscribed a while ago. They're casual fans. They'll watch once in a while, right? They'll pop in, and I love them to death. Don't get me wrong. I love them to death, but they're casual. I have my hardcore fans who come over to Poison Stinger 2 and hang out every single chance they get. Those would be OMG, Ralph Mouth, Mr. Tommy Boy 9, Broken Patriot. You guys are my hardcore bros, bro. So, yeah, we have a small group, and a couple reasons. One, I have to put a lot of that on myself. I am not everybody's cup of tea, and I accept that. Not everybody wants this kind of content, and if you don't want this kind of content, by all means, I'm not forcing anybody to be here. On this other hand, we're also contending with YouTube and shadow banning and whatever you want to call it. How much does that play into versus how much I'm just not that likable? I don't know. Who knows? Ralph Mouth was in the house. Broken Patriot, I didn't get a chance to watch all of that video, but I was watching a little bit before I came on live. It's a 3D printed fan. Broken Patriot shared with me a 3D printed fan with a 3D printer. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking. Real Girl just said that you shared it, right? So I checked it out. So I don't really know exactly why. I mean, obviously it's a 3D printer, so you know I have a 3D printer, obviously. So are you wanting me to review the fan, the printer, or are you just showing me cool shit? Because that was pretty cool shit. The printer that he had in there, I didn't note how old that video is, but the printer looked really nice. I went with the Ender 3 and it was like 250. Well, I went with the Pro version, so it's like $250. We got the extra bits to upgrade it, so it was 300 total. Pretty nice. We're still upgrading it with parts that we're making with the printer itself, including this chain that I had showed you that I had made the other day. This is to put some of the core or cables in so that it can move, but also keep the cables, you know, in one nice little area. Because apparently some guy had printed through one of his cables, like he had printed a house or something that had windows, and his cable had gotten inside the window, and yeah, that's bad. That's bad. I don't know if I'll ever need it, but it was kind of cool. It was kind of fun to make, and you know, you got to practice a little bit. Irish USMC Vet is way ahead of me, man. I just got my BL Touch on Friday. I have not installed it at all, and that's got bed leveling features and stuff. He got his a while back, but I mean, he's already into making our changes to existing files, right? So he's going to be adding like his name to whatever he makes. What's up, little girl?
Hi.
Hey, how was Joyce?
She's doing well. She's apparently not been sleeping very well, but she's been planting plants and cleaning, and she got rid of a whole bunch of hoard.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, they had a lot of stuff. You get a lot of stuff over the years. Weird they use the same hand washing troughs, even though when I was in school in the 80s. You mean basically the same thing that you piss in other places that are lower? Yeah, I know. I sent Riddle a link to a video guy as an awesome 3D printer. Yeah, I was just talking about that. No.
The fan.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure what he was talking about. You know, are you showing me cool shit? You want me to make you a fan? You want me to make myself a fan? Because the biohazard with Poison Stinger kind of goes together. stuff like that. And Kitty, yeah, that is northern. I probably need stitches. Why? I about sliced my finger off. Oh shit. I felt left out without a wrench. I'm a mechanic too. Oh, what's up, Mr. Tommy Boy 9? You shouldn't feel left out, bro. This is the backup channel, bro. I didn't get everybody a wrench. You have to be here in order to get a wrench. So, I mean, you probably were here a while ago. I just didn't do it. That's why I have this chat open. So now that should be fixed. Seems like a great printer for under 200 bucks. Yeah. Hold on. Let me look at my iPad, see how old that video is. Because you can get the Ender 3 and you can get the Ender 3 Pro. I think the Ender 3 Pro is 250 bucks, and I think the Ender 3 is like 200 bucks last time I checked. Oh, 2021. Okay. Yeah. It not having auto bed leveling. I don't think mine has auto bed leveling, not out of the box. He said, yeah, he says this one doesn't have auto bed leveling out of the box, which ours doesn't either. We had to get that. So yeah, it might be a great idea. Might be a great idea.
Yeah, we still have to
look into it more. Yeah, I know we have to. I would look into it more. I would get, use that YouTube, Google Foo. What would happen if I streamed on Twitch? On Twitch, you would immediately get, well, I don't want to say immediately, but you'll get taken down. They don't like things like that on Twitch at all. At all. Seems like a great print for under 200 bucks. Yeah, 200 bucks. If you got $200 to spend, I personally would say Ender 3, but I'm not the end all be all with printers. New video just asking, not streaming porn. You would get shut down pretty quick. Let's just say that. Look up poly meme finger wrap. Clean it up first, OMG, and then slather raw honey and coconut oil on gauze to wrap the finger. Or go to the well, yeah, I guess you could do that. I don't do the porn thing. It's a sin. No, it's not. Why is that a sin? Your finger will grow back. I installed Triticon night sights on car PM45 tonight. My thumb is almost fully regenerated in only 3.5 months so far. You guys are hilarious.
Starfish?
I want a red dot for my Walter Q5, but I can't put a cheap red dot on a $1,600 gun. I understand that. Usually you want to do at least half, if not the same amount of optic. But I'll tell you what, the best red dot I've ever seen for pistol or rifle is the Hollow Suns. Unfortunately, they're becoming popular and well known. And that's bad because that's going to drive prices up. And I'm not going to be able to get them when I want them. Mr. TB9 says, hello, Riddle. She says, hi, porn is absolutely a sin. Okay, well, difference of opinion on that. Super glue always works.
Bye-bye, arm.
Yeah, don't do that. You're the one that said you didn't even want to be on stream because you're all self-conscious, and then you're the one putting that out there. Oh, my goodness.
Ghetto bird circling so close.
Yeah, I don't know. So porn, be it a sin. Well, you're not supposed to lust after your neighbor's wife, right? But are you wanting to date this lady that is in the porn, right? The pornography that is going on. Are you wanting to date her? Are you wanting to leave your wife for her? No. Right? You're not. So what? My wife, like most wives, have a period of time that they're not allowed to fornicate because of whatever reason, right? Well, during that time, I take care of things that I have to take care of once in a while. And sometimes to help that along, I watch pornography. As a Christian, do I watch it in excess? No. Can it be watched in excess? Yes. Can anything in this world be done into excess? Yes. But sex itself is a natural, God-made thing. Should it be between a man and a wife? Sure. This is a whole discussion we'll have on the Bible chat next Saturday. Anyway, I disagree with that. I would do a Holosun. Holosuns are awesome. Absolutely awesome. Riddle, and I saw a meme where a guy pointed a red dot at a person who broke into his house, waited for his cat to attack. LOL. Holosun. Holosun is amazing. Holosun, yep. Holosun has shake awake technology, right? So my 300 Blackout has a Holosun on it, and it was an expensive one at the time. It was $325. I can only imagine how much that is now, but that's like top of their line, and that is not that expensive. When I had my original rifle, I put a EOTech zombie stopper on it with the biohazard signal on it, or little thing on it. That cost me $550. And this one only cost me $325 and works much better. The EOTech, first of all, it's bulky, it's heavy, and the battery only lasts a little while. And I don't even have the darn thing on. And you have to turn it on when you need to use it, right? So you got to hit both buttons at the same time. Oh no, somebody's breaking into my house. Let me turn on my Holosun. Versus the EOTech. Let me turn on my EOTech. Whereas the Holosun has shake weight technology, right? So it's always on. It's got a solar panel on it to help prolong the battery. And instead of having to change the battery once a month, I have to change it once every 5 years because it's off right now. But as soon as I take it off wherever it's at, it registers that motion as a sign to turn on. So before I can even pull it up to my eye, it's already on. It's been on as soon as it moves. It's nice. It's really nice. And 5-year battery life? Yes, please. I don't have to worry about it. Not one bit. And I love it. All right.
So the ghetto bird, according to the Citizen app, is somebody is trying to ram their car into a police car. That's what the ghetto bird is about. I could actually hear some stuff over there. That's interesting.
Cool. Shake awake. Not to be confused with shake weight. That's right. I have sold one of those on eBay before. They go for a good amount. Unfortunately, they take a lot to ship, and I pretty much lost money on that. Wind up red dot. There you go. You could wind up a red dot. There are red dots out there. Oh, I think it's ACOG and fake ACOGs, right? That have a fiber optic thing on them, and you can see them even in pretty dark rooms, and there's no batteries required. Kansas Hillbilly Preppers Rifles got a knockoff one of those, and it's not bad. It's a little dark, or it's not very bright, obviously inside, but other than that, it's not bad. Corinthians 1, flee sexual immorality. Every sin that a man does is outside the body, but he who commits sexual immorality sin against his own... What? Please. And what is your definition of sexual immorality? What's your sexual immorality to you? That is a very vague question. That if you think pornography is sexual immorality, then by all means, there you go. I don't think it is. I think it's a tool. I think it's God made. So we'll have to disagree on that one. I think you were talking about lead. Was I talking about lead? When was I talking about lead, Ralph Mouth? I like lead too. Anyway, that's all I got on that. How was your weekend? My weekend went pretty well. Oh shoot, I don't have the thing. I don't have the thing over here. Hold on. Why don't I have that? Why isn't that the thing? Seriously? I deleted that from everything? All right, cool. Great. We're not going to have a title of who I am up here anymore. But I hope you know who I am. If not, check down below. There's a thing that says who I am down there. That's weird. All right. So I got a little bit of stuff from Mark Dice again. Pretty funny. Oops.
Again, and I'm just glad that the impeachment hearing is finally over again, and Donald Trump was found innocent again, and I'm just glad that the country can finally move on, and we don't have to listen to the Democrats and the liberal media complaining about Donald Trump 24/7 anymore. Oh wait, what's this?
This was a remarkable week, a powerful week, and I think the House managers, obviously Congresswoman Dean and Congressman
I think
Raskin,
his last
and a very
name is
talented
offensive.
team, put on an incredibly compelling and powerful case. But there's
I think
still
he
more
should be
evidence
barred.
that the American people need and deserve to hear, and a 9/11 commission is a way to make sure that we secure the Capitol going forward, and that we lay bare the record of just how responsible and how abjectly violating of his constitutional oath President Trump really was.
Another 9/11 commission, huh? I guess that means they're going to just cover up what really happened on January 6th, a day that will live in infamy, as Chuck Schumer said, plagiarizing literally FDR's comments about Pearl Harbor. Congressman Jamie Ratskin cried.
He needs a yarmulke. Cover that up.
And here's Eric Bartwell explaining why the Democrats decided to waste America's time on this again.
The choice was, well, do we chase those people, not knowing what they're going to say, to the courts for years, or do we go forward with a powerful, thundering case that we have, and also knowing that Mitch McConnell was already telling us that he believed the challenge was a jurisdictional one, so we could have called God herself, and the Republicans weren't going to be willing to convict. So we're proud of the case we put forward.
God herself
was well noted, Congressman. Amen. And a woman.
Amen. And a woman.
In a post-impeachment vote interview, President Trump's lawyer schooled the fake news and then dropped the mic. Literally.
When I watch the news, I watch one station and it's raining. I watch another station at the same time and it's sunny. Your coverage is so slanted, it's got to stop. You got to live by your word. That's the problem. The media has to start living by the truth and not try to create a narrative.
Michael Vanderveen.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. I do appreciate.
Yep.
Okay. I see you taking off your microphone now.
The Democrats did this for two reasons. One, to gin up more support to increase censorship on social media. And two, if they could convince the Senate to vote guilty, then that would prevent Donald Trump from being able to run again in 2024. And since that failed, it looks like they're going to try to pass a new law, hoping that that will stop him.
There is this separate clause in the Constitution which says if you've been an insurrectionist, then the Congress can pass a bill to remove you, to basically bar you from future office holding. It does require only a simple majority, so it is possible to do. However, it may also require a court process to adjudicate guilt or innocence. I think we should welcome that. I think Donald Trump would be scared out of his mind for that court process.
I don't think he's going to actually run again in 2024. I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble, and I think we should still continue to troll the Democrats that he may, but I have a feeling that he's going to want to just enjoy his retirement, and Matt Gaetz made a good point that President Trump would be a more likely candidate in 2024 than Joe Biden, because let's face it, Joe Biden certainly is not going to run again.
Come on, Matt.
China Joe would be 82 years old, so there's no way in hell that he's going to run again. It'll be a miracle if he actually makes it through his first full term. Most likely, he'll probably step down, and then they'll anoint Kamala Harris the president, and then that way in 2024, she can run for re-election without any other Democrat opposing her to keep the Democrat Party unified without any infighting to basically point out and admit what terrible flaws she has. And the swamp is seeping back into the city with neocons like Nikki Haley appearing to prepare a possible 2024 presidential run, so we're going to definitely have to make sure to prevent that from happening. It's time for Mitch McConnell to go as well, and all these dinosaurs, or in his case, I guess, turtle, but turtles are related to dinosaurs, but you know what I mean. While he did vote against impeaching Trump at the circus, immediately afterwards, he threw him under the bus and literally blamed him for what a few of the protesters did at the Capitol that day. Meanwhile, old Joe has been the president now for almost a month, and the only idea that he's come up with so far to try to put an end to the pandemic is that we should all be wearing 2 masks instead of 1, and I'm sure they don't blame that on the Trump administration as well for not coming up with that brilliant idea. And since it looks like they're going to actually put together a January 6th commission, we're going to definitely have to speed up the rollout of the vaccine. The vaccine for Trump derangement syndrome, of course. To help support my research into that, I recommend that you order a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt from my online store.
All right, so what's worse? What's worse, OMG? Infidelity, like me going out and finding another girl and cheating on my wife with, or rubbing one out by watching pornography? Which one's worse? I will wait. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation he will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. Oh, great. So what's worse? Watching pornography and rubbing one out, or cheating on your wife? And is it the same thing if your wife is cool doing it too? What about if your wife is a swinger? Is that okay if you and your wife enjoy other people's company here and there? If you both do? What about if I have a whole bunch of wives? Right? If I have 5 wives, is that a sin? I'm curious, because there's a lot of people, including Father Abraham, who had a lot of wives. A lot of biblical people had a lot of different wives. Just saying, some even killed their husbands in order to get with them. So, is it worse to watch pornography and rub one out, or is it worse to go out and cheat on one's wife? Which one's worse? You're going to have to spell it out. A yes isn't going to work. Which one is worse? Which one is worse? Pornography, infidelity, or neither or both? Infidelity, pornography, and rubbing one out, neither or both? Just a swinging? You talking about the old country song? Just a swinging. We will just a swinging. Swinging. I don't know. I'm curious on this. This is a great topic. It's not really the day for it, but screw it. I'll do this. If just I'll hold on. We'll get back to it here in a second. Adultery is worse. Wrong. If you think watching pornography is bad, a sin. If you think watching pornography is a sin, and then you also think adultery is worse, you're wrong. A sin is a sin. It doesn't matter how much of a sin it is. That God does not look at one sin and say that it's worse than another sin. All sin falls to the glory of God, and any sin is the same as any other sin. If you have broken one of my commandments, you have broken them all. Why do you think I go to church on Saturday? Because I believe in my heart of hearts that the 7th day is holy and the 7th day is Sabbath and Saturday. And I feel like if I don't honor Saturday as his holy day of worship, then I have broken every single other commandment there is. So there you go. I vape. It's a sin. Why is it? Dude, you need to go and watch the biblical chat that we did last Saturday. I talked to you personally, and you should really go do that. You need to calm down, bro. Like, seriously, calm down. I know you're a brand new convert, and that's great. I'm glad you're excited. I'm glad that you want to give your life to Jesus. I'm glad that you want to not sin as much as possible, and that's exactly what you should be striving for. But if you get hung up on all the little shit to get you there, that is counterproductive. And coming over to somebody else and like, you shouldn't be doing this because that's a sin and you're going to go to hell. That comes off too strong, bro. That's not how you win hearts. That's how you drive people away. That's being a religious nut and not a fruitful vine. You want to get somebody to come to the Lord, then you will sow the seeds of God in there by showing him what a godly person is like, right? Show him by example. You don't go off and say, you need to change this. You need to change that. You need to change that. And you better get on your knees and pray to the Lord or you're going to hell. That does not win over people's hearts. That scares them away and drives them away from the Lord. If you want to bring somebody to the Lord, be a blessing. There you go. And vaping, I don't know. I smoked. You're not supposed to defile your temple of your body. I know the passage. I know the passage. I smoked for 20 years. I vaped for 6 or 8. I believe in my heart of hearts that vaping is probably 98% better for you than smoking. It's not a carcinogen, right? I'm getting the nicotine. The nicotine is the addictive part, but that's it, right? That's it. Other than that, it's 98% better for me than smoking. So why is vaping a sin? I'm not poisoning my body, not nearly as much. Do you drink coffee? I mean, if you really want to get on this, do you drink caffeine? Because caffeine is a drug. See, this is me coming into the Seventh-day Adventist Church, okay? I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I know all about this. We have Ellen G. White. You want to talk about knowing your health problems and what is a sin and what is not a sin? I know it because we weren't allowed to have caffeine as growing up in the Seventh-day Adventist, right? Anytime we had soda, non-caffeinated. Why? Because our body's a temple. But these same people drive around in polluting cars and just fine with that. Now you're not only polluting your own body, you're polluting everybody else's too. How far do you take it? How far? Religious nuts, not fruitful vines. Although I am more religious than I'm telling you, dude, you're too. I'm glad you're on your path. I really am. All I'm saying, and I don't want to discourage you at all. I just want you to dial it back because, as I said, you're not going to win people over like that. When I go over to Joyce and Dale's, right? I didn't get on them for a whole bunch of stuff like, you better do this or you're not going to be saved when you die. You know, instead I go over there to be a blessing. If they ask me, I share. I do the same thing with like my gaming channel and this channel even a little bit, right? If I'm over on my gaming channel, I'm treating everybody nice. There's homosexuals that watch my stuff. There's libtards that watch my gaming channel. Am I getting on their case every time they come? Why? No, I'm not. Why? Because if I did, they wouldn't come. Meanwhile, I'm over there not judging them one little bit. Right? Making the dick jokes. Find them funny myself, to be honest. I think God had a sense of humor. He made a lot of things that are funny in this world. And who doesn't like a good dick joke? Yeah, I'm immature. I don't care. Right? But I'm over there making friends with all these people, bringing us together for a common goal of having fun in a game. And you know what? Things come out of that. They come back for whatever reasons they come back for. But a lot of it is me witnessing to somebody by my actions and not necessarily by my words all the time. You don't have to be full on Jesus all the time to be a blessing and to bring people to that. I can tell people are with the Lord or whatever by meeting them for a few minutes and just seeing how they conduct themselves. Spider-Man for a Cause, one of the people that I play with online, I knew he was a Christian as soon as I met him. Just the way he presents himself. He doesn't come overbearing. He's got a lot of fans that are homosexual and immoral or whatever you want to call it. But you know what? I'm not here to judge them. It's not my job. Many places in the Bible it says it's not my job. It's not my job to judge them. It's my job to accept them. Jesus goes to the worst places when he's on this planet and preaches to the people that actually need him, not the ones in church. I asked my church that one time when they told me I couldn't come into their church because I didn't have a tie on. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know this church wouldn't have Jesus. They wouldn't even allow Jesus to come into this church. You think Jesus is wearing a tie? Hypocrisy, man. That's why people run away from the church. Hypocrisy and judging. And people run away. I ran away for a very long time, and I don't necessarily go back to my church. And when I do go to the church, I see it for what it is, a den of sinners. Some of them trying to pretend they're not, and some trying to actually not. But most of them pretending that they're not. A lot of hypocrisy. You want to talk about places where hypocrisy lives? Whew, go to church. Anyway. I never said to change anything. That's being the guy standing on the corner screaming with the Bible in his hand. We have that around here. It's hilarious. I mean, I don't know. It's fun. I'm glad that they're doing that. I hope they're actually reaching something with that. Let me first just check to the Saturday streams. That's none of us will go to heaven unless we have a relationship with Jesus. That's exactly right, Riddle. If you've been watching the It's All About Jesus seminar that I've been doing on my biblical chats, it's about the relationship with Jesus. The thief on the cross was not able to forgive or to go over every sin that he did, and he didn't apologize for every single sin that he did when he was on that cross. Okay? He asked Jesus to remember him, and Jesus said, surely you will be in the heaven. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He just knew that he was next to his Lord, and he wanted his Lord to remember him. Don't get hung up on every little sin. Get that relationship. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know, and who you know will change what you do. God cured my leg last Wednesday night. God made Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. Hold on. And who invented sin? Who created the devil, knowing full well what the devil would do, and still yet he made the devil? All right, Riddle, go for it.
I want to read James 2, 8 through 13.
Okay, it's become the biblical chat. Here we go.
If you really keep the law found in Scripture, love your neighbor as yourself, you are doing right. But if you show favoritism, you sin and are convicted by the law as lawbreakers. For whoever keeps the whole law yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it. For he who said you shall not commit adultery also said you shall not murder. If you do not commit adultery but you do commit murder, you have become a lawbreaker. Speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom, because judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. Mercy triumphs over judgment.
There you go. All I said was porn was a sin. Okay, I didn't judge anyone. Yeah, you did. You judged everybody who works in the porn industry. You're not judgmental. Yes, everybody's judgmental. It's just what we do as a nation. I am too. I try not to be as much as I can, but there's plenty of times I don't talk to people just because I already judged them in my mind. We're not supposed to judge them, though, on whether they're going to heaven or not. I cannot judge a porn actress or actor on whether they're going to go to heaven or not. I don't know. I don't know if they have a personal relationship with God. I don't know if they will later on, or if that's even a sin. That's debatable. That's not for me to judge, bro. If you want them to not sin, if you want somebody to not sin, you introduce them to the Lord in a way that's not going to drive them away, and let them figure out if it's a sin or not. You telling them what a sin is and what not a sin is not going to help them. It's only going to hinder them and drive them further away from the Lord. You bring them to the Lord, you show him his mercies, and you don't mention one time, not even one time, that what they're doing is a sin. So if you go and witness to a porn actress or actor, I hope you do not say that what they're doing is a sin. That has absolutely nothing to do with them coming to the Lord. You bring them to the Lord, you show him his great reasons to come to the Lord, or the great reasons to come to the Lord. Show him all of his blessings that has happened to you in your life. And let them figure out what is a sin and what isn't a sin. And then that's their path that they will go on. And it's not up to you to point out their sins. That's not your job. It's their job to figure that on their own. But if you point out that what you're doing is a sin, it's not going to work out right. The devil went down to Georgia. I like POV myself. Oh, yeah, POV. Point of view. Nice. Personally, could I get away with not watching porn? Yeah, but my personal life in that, I'm not going to go into that very much. Because Real Girl will kill me. But at the same time, there are reasons why I think, yeah, maybe. Right? Anyway, that's all I got on that. Oh my goodness, that went on for a minute. All right. After acquittal, bipartisan support grows for a 9/11 style commission to prosecute Trump. A day after citizen Donald Trump won his second Senate impeachment trial in 2 years, bipartisan support appeared to be growing for an independent September 11th style commission to prosecute the former president. More investigations into the riot were already planned, with Senate hearings scheduled later this month in the Senate Rules Committee. Excuse me. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also asked retired Army General Russell Honor to lead an immediate review of Capitol security processes. Lawmakers from both parties signaled on Sunday that even more inquiries were likely. There should be a complete investigation about what happened, said Senator Bill Cassidy, one of the seven Republicans who voted to convict Trump. What was known, who knew it, and when they knew it, all that, because the builds on the biases. So this never happens again because that builds the basis. So this never happens again. Cassidy said he was attempting to hold President Trump accountable and added that as Americans hear all the facts, more folks will move to where I was. He was censored by his state's party after the vote, which was a 57-43 to convict, but 10 votes short of the 2/3 that were required. I'm surprised they didn't change that, because they did change the fact that they didn't need, I think it was 2/3 in order to pass the Rona relief bill, and they just made that a simple majority. I mean, how many more things are they going to pass as just a simple majority? A close ally of Trump, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, said that he looked forward to campaigning with Trump in the 2022 election when Republicans hope to regain the congressional majority. But Graham acknowledged that Trump had some culpability for the siege at the Capitol that killed 5 people, including a police officer, disrupted lawmakers' certification of Democrats Joe Biden's White House victory. His behavior after the election was over the top, Graham said. We need a 9/11 commission to find out what happened and make sure that it never happens again. That scared the living shit out of him. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. The Senate acquitted Trump of a charge of incitement of an insurrection after House prosecutors laid out a case that he was an insider-in-chief. Trump's lawyers countered that Trump's words were not intended to incite violence and that the impeachment was nothing more but a witch hunt designed to prevent him from serving in office again. The conviction tally was the most bipartisan in American history, but left Trump to declare victory and signal a political revival. The Republicans who joined Cassidy in voting to convict were Senator Richard Byrne of North Carolina, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Mitt Romney of Utah, Ben Sasse of Nebraska, and Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania. On Sunday, several House impeachment managers sharply criticized McConnell, who told Republican senators shortly before the vote that he would vote to acquit Trump. In a blistering speech after the vote, McConnell said the president was practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of that day, but that the Senate's hands were tied to do anything about it because Trump was out of office. But the Senate, in an earlier vote, had deemed the trial constitutional. I don't think it was, but I mean, at this point, what does it matter if it is or not? As I told the one guy, throw the Constitution out. It absolutely means nothing. It's a piece of paper. If you are not willing to back that piece of paper with your blood, it means absolutely nothing. It's a piece of paper, nothing more. It was powerful to hear the 57 guilties, and then it was puzzling to hear and see Mitch McConnell stand and say not guilty, and then 10 minutes later stand again and say he was guilty of everything. Said Representative Madalena Dean, history will remember that statement of speaking out of 2 sides of your mouth. Mitch McConnell, yeah, I don't know about that. Dean backed the idea of investigative commission, but not guided by politics, but filled with people who would stand up to the courage of their conviction. A 9/11 style commission, which would probably require legislation to create, would elevate the investigation a step higher, offering a definite government-backed accounting of events. Because that's exactly what we need, something just like 9/11. Pelosi has expressed support for such commission while stressing that the members who sit on it would be key. I'm sure it would be. There are still more evidence that American people need and deserve to hear, and a 9/11 commission is the way to make sure that we secure the Capitol going forward. Senator Chris Coons from Delaware and a Biden ally. I'm telling you, that's like really bad name right there. And that we lay bare the record of just how responsible and how objectively violating of his constitutional oath President Trump really was. Well, wait a minute. If he took a constitutional oath, right? When he became the president, that oath, I don't think it carries over when you're a citizen, right? He was a citizen. What? No, it's, I guess the 6. He wasn't quite citizen yet. All right, maybe. We can debate on that. Cassidy and Dean spoke on ABC. Graham appeared on Fox News, and they did the State of the Union. Yeah, okay, great. I'm not judgmental. I don't care if somebody watches porn. And the devil went down to Georgia. Okay, dude, I drove a taxi cab for 17 years. If I judge people's sins, I would have any customers. I had a male transgender prostitute as a regular customer. Congratulations. Taxi cab confession. Was in the ghetto cabbie to transport prostitutes, and most of them knew it. Yeah, but were you saved? Were you saved at that time? I'm not saying you judge people the same. How do I word that? There's a difference between your life before you were saved and your life after you were saved. Like before you were saved, yeah, you probably didn't agree with it, but at the same time, you weren't saved. Now that you're saved and you're a new saved, you're a new convert, you're very excited. And by all means, as I said before, congratulations. I mean, I never really even had that, right? I was raised up in the church. So I never had that, click yet that we're watching about. I've had moments of it, but for the most part, growing up, I was just knowledge based. I just knew a lot of scripture because I went to a lot of church schools, right? It wasn't until I rebelled, left the church, and then kind of found my way back into it. Originally, when I started going back to church, it was because I wanted my kid to grow up in church. It wasn't because I wanted to go. Oh, no. The original reason we started going back to church is because we needed money for bills. If I remember correctly, Riddle Girl, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we needed money. And I was like, well, I know the church will do it. We just have to go to a couple meetings, because I know Seventh-day Adventists, they're gonna help us out financially with our bills as long as we're going to church, and we don't have to pay tithe or nothing. That got me into church again. And then I kept going because I wanted my daughter to grow up like that too, or I wanted her to at least have that experience, but I still didn't really believe very well. And then I wanted her to go to the same school I went to, which ended up being a really big mistake. I should not have done that because the school I went to was Thunderbird Adventist Academy here in Arizona. And I really enjoyed it. It got me to be a lot more independent. Unfortunately, it got my daughter to be a lot more independent too. And I really missed out on the last 3 years of her life with us here. So there's a lot of regrets there, but at the same time, it is what it is. Did it bring her closer to the Lord? I don't think it did. It didn't bring me closer to the Lord when I went to that school either. Right? I was smoking and drinking when I was at that school. So really, I was like, I probably shouldn't have had her go there. I treated everyone like brothers and sisters. I drove a truck with the mindset you had to protect my brothers and sisters that are traveling around me for the dangerous machine isn't driving. I wish other drivers knew how dangerous a rig is. I don't know. Every time I signal and start moving over, cars get out of the way. I think they realize pretty quick when it's eye level that maybe they should back the hell off. But I didn't drive truck for a long, long time. I only drove it for like a year. So I really don't have much to talk about when it comes to that stuff. OMG is much more, and maybe even Broken Patriot is much more person to talk to. I believe that man was not created to judge each other. Only God has the power to do that. Yeah, so, okay. If porn is a sin to you, great. Porn's a sin. But coming on here and just blaring it, that does come across bad, bro. That comes across bad. That's all I'm saying. Prayed back then. I believe Jesus died for sins and was resurrected. Okay, cool. when I was a cabbie, the only thing that mattered was the money. Didn't care who was getting in my cab. He is correct. We started going to church because we needed the money and food. Yep, we were broke. We were broke. God works in mysterious ways, does he not? Probably the best. And I actually told my pastor that later on. It was a couple years later. I was like, you know, the only reason we even started coming to church is because we needed money for paying bills, and I knew you guys were suckers. And guess who's a sucker now? What's up, little girl?
I just wanted to kind of comment on Jesus meets you where you're at. At the time, we were there. We were broke. We needed food. We wanted help, and we didn't know who to go to or where to go except the church. And Jesus said, "All right, we'll provide for you, and you will be ministered to, and we will bring you back."
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So Biden has met with a whole bunch of gun control groups. We all know it's coming. We're all not really surprised, but we're still going to watch a little bit of this anyway, because you do need to know what's going on, and you do need to contact your representatives where you can, because unless you're ready to start shedding blood, you need to be calling your representatives.
Let's get into this one. So last week on Wednesday, gun control group leaders met with a couple people of the Biden administration, led by Susan Rice, and they were talking. Well, while we don't have the transcript of what they're talking about, I'll tell you this, that these leaders going into this meeting were frustrated with the lack of action by Joe Biden and his administration after they aggressively campaigned on increasing gun control regulations, specifically background checks and banning assault weapons or military-style weapons. Their terms, not mine. I always get lit up in the comments like the way I say it's going to change America. But and to each their own. But the leaders were from Moms Demand Action, the Brady Group, and Erethreum for Gun Safety. And they met with Joe's crew, and coming out of it, they've changed their thought process. So let me put up on screen here. This is the statement from the White House, and you can see the date that they all met was February the 10th. And this is what the statement says. Today, Domestic Policy Advisor Susan Rice and White House Public Engagement Director and Senior Advisor Cedric Richmond hosted a virtual discussion with leaders of gun violence prevention advocacy groups, Everytown for Gun Safety, Moms Demand Action, Giffords, and Brady. They discussed the ongoing public health crisis of gun violence in America, the historic increase in homicides across American cities last year, and common sense steps that can be taken to make our communities safer, such as closing background check loopholes, stopping the proliferation of unregulated and untraceable ghost guns, and expanding community-based violence intervention programs. Ambassador Rice and Congressman Richmond expressed gratitude for the leaders' ideas, persistent advocacy efforts over the years, and commitment to working together to tackle the gun violence epidemic. Ambassador Rice and Congressman Richmond also underscored President Biden's long-standing record of fighting for families impacted by gun violence, his full support for taking common-sense actions to reduce gun violence, and his unwavering commitment to pushing ahead further steps to make our communities safer. So that's the White House's statement, and they always gloss over things, and I'm apologizing now. My eye has been twitching for like 2 weeks now. I got a really stressful event going on in my life that I can't wait to tell you. End to the Second Amendment, okay? In fact, I'm going to put up on the screen here a quote from
there's a lot of bills. I think it's the relief bill, the new Nipple 19 relief bill that they're trying to push through is going to have some of that stuff in it. I don't really want to watch the entire thing, though. It's a pretty long video, and we're already running behind because we got onto religious chat. I always hated those who'd swoop in front of my truck. Hey, dumbass, I need that spot to stop. Now I want to use your car to stop. What's up, Gerald B? How you doing? With this crazy weather, I'm glad I'm not driving truck anymore. Dude, I learned how to drive in Chicago, and the first winter, Albuquerque got the only winter, I guess, technically I worked. It got like so glassed over ice that we were shut down for, I think, at least a day and a half until it melted. What's up? What's up, Gerald? How is Gerald doing in Maine? You doing okay on your plants? I mean, you got enough. There's rolling blackouts in Texas because of the clear. Yeah, I know. I got a story on that, actually. Let's get on to that. I'm not going to watch this video. I'm going to put it in the chat, though. This is CodaBoy32. If you want to watch CodaBoy32, there's the link for it. He goes off. This is 8.5 minutes of me thinking he's like this freaking close to saying, not one more inch over that damn line. I want to start taking out every one of these motherfuckers. I'm pretty sure, man, this guy seems really fired up in that. I'm not going to watch it, though. All right, Fox host Dobbs, Bartolomeo Pirio strike back in the voting darkening lawsuit. 3 Fox News hosts, I'm not going to say their names again, are seeking the dismissal of claims against them and their employer as part of a $2.7 billion libel lawsuit brought by the voting technology company Smartmatic. BD&P, as well as Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani and Trump supporting lawyer Sidney Powell, were sued this month for the eye-popping amount by Smartmatic, which accused them of conspiring to spread DARFing claims that the company was involved in an effort to DARF the election from Trump. In its motions, lawyers from Kirkland and Ellis, which is also defending Fox, argued that Bartolomeo, Dobbs, and Pirio were doing their job in covering the biggest story of the day, unprecedented allegations by the president that the integrity of the electoral process was marred by DARFing. Smartmatic, in its 285-page complaint filed February 4th in state court in New York, had cited at least 13 reports on Fox News in which guests or personalities stated or implied that the company had somehow helped DARF the election through the easily tampered technology. The complaint alleged that the disinformation campaign continued even then. Attorney General William Barr said the Department of Justice could find no evidence of widespread voting DARFing. Smartmatic is confident in its case and looks forward to briefing these issues for the court. Jarek Connolly, attorney for Smartmatic, wrote, the filings by Fox personalities note instances in which they question Powell and Giuliani for evidence to back up their claims, as well as Smartmatic's own denial of the charges. It also argues that Dobbs' statements appearing to validate the claims of his guests were constitutionally protected opinions, not statements of fact. The First Amendment protects the press when it informs the public about judicial proceedings, regardless of the accuracy of the underlying allegations, according to the motion filed on behalf of Dobbs. Isn't this how CNN still operates? I mean, it's got to be, right? On December 18th, all 3 hosts aired a segment with an expert debunking some of the claims that had been made on its networks against Smartmatic and another voting technology company, Dominion. Fox Business Network dropped Dobbs' show February 5th, a day after the lawsuit was filed, so he's fired. The network said that the move was part of a planned programming shift and not related to the lawsuit. Sure. Maybe sped up. Bartolomeo, in her motion, suggests an alternative motive for what she calls Smartmatic's headline-seeking lawsuit in an attempt by the company to fill its coffers after reporting a loss of $17 million on $144 million in revenue in 2019. This complaint is not just meritless, it's legal shakedown designed to chill speech and punish reporting issues that cut to the heart of our democracy, her lawyers argue. Roy Gutterman, a media law professor at Syracuse University, said Fox in its motion made reasonable arguments about First Amendment rights and its duty to fuel public discourse on an important political issue. Whether the broadcaster is liable for providing a forum for speakers and what responsibility they have for dealing with the false factual statements will be central to court's decision, he said. Still, he asked if Fox succeeds in persuading the court to dismiss the case, the individual guests, Giuliani and Powell, could still be liable for patently false and damaging statements. If they are, I hope they have proof. I hope they actually have proof that as the judges will actually listen to. Smartmatic's participation in the U.S. election was restricted to a single district in Los Angeles County, which votes heavily Democratic. The limited role notwithstanding, the company and its technology were widely and baselessly blamed by Trump supporters for somehow tilting the race in favor of Mr. Biden. President Biden. That's your president. The effects of the negative publicity were swift and included death threats against an executive 14-year-old son, the loss of business, and enduring stain on its reputation, Smartmatic claims. Like many conspiracy theories, the alleged campaign against Smartmatic was built on a grain of truth. The company's founder and CEO is Venezuelan, and Smartmatic's initial success is partially attributed to major contracts from Hugo Chavez's government, an early devotee of electronic voting, which, yeah. Dobbs, in his motion to join Fox's request for dismissal, points out that he first covered Smartmatic a decade earlier in 2006 when employed by CNN. At the time, the company was facing scrutiny from U.S. lawmakers concerned about its purchase of an American competitor so shortly after it had helped organize elections in Venezuela that were marred by allegations of DARFing. Whew, got through it. Got plenty left. Nice. Missing out on a few chats. Did you guys light me up or something? No. Where's my thing? Hold on. I don't shut down unless the truck won't move. Yeah, are you? I guess you're still DARFing your books. How do you DARF your digital books? Because when I was driving, we had paper books, and you could fudge those. I was not told to fudge those by my company, but the first time we actually had to shut down because we were running too long, we were told, "What the hell are you shut down for?" Because they obviously did not want us to say that how long we were driving. Like, you probably don't, I don't know, you probably don't waste much time stopping for stuff. I'm pretty sure we had the discussion that you just keep on trucking no matter what. Like, you have bottles for those emergencies, right? Well, that continues to run. If I stop to go to the bathroom, I say, okay, I'm not driving the truck right now. I go to the bathroom, I come back, okay, I'm driving the truck now. That's how I did my paper ballots. Or not my paper ballot. My logs. That's how I did my logs, right? Well, if it's all electronical now, how do you keep driving and never stop? Because if you're driving as a team and you're driving and you're being honest, if you're being honest, which I know you are because not being honest is a sin, then you should be shutting down every once in a while. I don't shut down unless, okay, I shut down once. I-80 in Wyoming was closed, 2 feet of snow. They just said we can expect a foot or more here tomorrow. It just started to split some snow now. Nice. We had 50-mile-per-hour wind a couple days ago. Wow. Yeah, I remember that. It was at night, I think. My old Yahoo name was Green Bud Smoker 42001. We don't DARF them, we team. I know how to team drive, bro. That's what I did. If you're a team, unless you have a third person, if you team drive, which me and Riddle did, you still shut down. You have 11 hours. You have 11 hours of driving. That means you have an hour each where you're not driving. If you don't do that, then you're going to stop. So you have to stop for at least 2 hours a day in a 24-hour period, or you're going to be shut down. And that's exactly what happened to us. Keep on trucking, only stop to change drivers and fuel. Well, I hope that takes you 2 hours out of your 24-hour day. Fauci wins $1 million Israeli prize for defending science. Dr. Fauci has won the $1 million Dan David Prize for defending science and advocating for vaccines now being administered worldwide to fight the sniffle pandemic. The Israeli-based Dan David Foundation on Monday named President Joe Biden's chief medical advisor as the winner of one of 3 prizes. It said it had earned the recognition over the lifetime of leadership on HIV research and AIDS relief, as well as advocacy for shots against the sniffles. In its statement, the private foundation did not mention former President Trump, who undermined Fauci's follow the science to the pandemic, but it credited Fauci with courageously defending science in the face of uniformed opposition during a challenging sniffle crisis. Fauci, 80, is he 80 years old? Has served 7 presidents and has been the director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases since 1984. Wow. Wow. The recent interviews, Fauci has acknowledged that it was difficult at times to work for Trump, who repeatedly played down the severity of the pandemic, dismissed the need for mask wearing, and often touted unproven scientific remedies, including injecting disinfectant. First of all, dude, you were against it before you were for it. Trump rescinded Fauci's flattering press coverage and revealed in calls to fire Fauci at some of his rallies. But Fauci outlasted Trump, who lost the November election. He sure did. He sure did. He was very clear that there were things that were said, but be it regarding things like hydroxychloroquine and other things that were really uncomfortable because they were not based in scientific fact. Fauci said in a recent White House briefing. He added that he took no pleasure in having to contradict the president. Biden's election, Fauci said, was liberating. Well, I'm so glad that you liked it. Got $1 million. $1 million. Thank you. I don't read that. Let's see. Smoking Mr. B. We don't Darth him. We team. Okay, and we do a 34-hour reset at home every week. Yeah, maybe I've been out of the game too long, but I'm pretty sure if you drive more than 11 hours a day, you're gonna get fined big time, which means you have to stop and turn. Well, the wheels have to stop, and you cannot be behind the wheel for an hour a day each. So 2 hours. In a 24-hour period, you have to be not behind that wheel. Somebody. So if that's the case, then you're within the law. And as long as you're within the law, you're within God's law. Because you can't break the law. A buddy of mine is a transfer driver. He said once he was pulling out with a trailer and crushed a pee bottle with a trailer tire, spraying his own. Oh, dude. It's disgusting. That's one thing I'm so glad I never did. I never got to that point. And I still had to shut down because I took bathroom breaks. I ain't going to pee in no damn bottle. It's disgusting. I don't care how sanitary it is. Sleeper is 10 hours. Drive time is 11. Yeah, you get 11 hours. 14-hour day. Huh? When I'm done 11 hours, he's been legal for an hour. Fauci is freaking old. He's 80. Yeah. He needs to retire. I drive 11. Yeah. You drive 11. Your teammate drives 11. You know how many hours that is? 22 hours! Which means there's 2 hours in a 24-hour period you're not driving. Millions freeze as grid chaos sparks massive rolling blackouts. Encore Electric Delivery, Texas' largest transmission of electrical distribution and utility, serving more than 10 million customers, released a rather disturbing statement Monday morning without warning about extended rolling blackouts as temperatures hover around zero. He's legal after 10 hours in the sleeper. Not that I remember, but I could be wrong on that. And I'm not saying you shut down every day, but it does catch up. It's been way too long for me to argue with you on that one. We shut down because we kept perfect books. And we got shut down. And we got yelled at. Encore asked people to prepare for the worst as the power grid experienced a system-wide failure due to historic winter conditions across the state. Their full statement: due to the severity of electrical generation shortfall, our expected outage length of 15 to 45 minutes has been significantly extended. Outages due to this electrical emergency could last for hours, and we ask you to be prepared. In addition, we are responding to separate outages caused by the record-breaking winter storm that continues to impact our entire service territory. We are doing everything possible to respond to each of these power emergency events. We remain in close coordination with ERCOT and are appreciated everyone's patience as we do all we can to protect the integrity of the Texas grid. Oh, Texas. Every time I think about moving to Texas, there's always something else out there that just tells me, yeah, maybe you should rethink that. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time. But at the same time, there's always something else telling me I should go. So, I don't know. I think God's voice is in there somewhere. I just got to wait and be patient and be ready. Grid managers declared an emergency after unprecedented demand spiked, strained utilities beyond capacity. Blackouts could last until Tuesday. Rolling power outages are in effect across the state of Texas as the polar vortex split has poured some of the coldest air into central U.S. There are nearly 2 million Texan customers without power as Monday morning. Wow. Over the last 24 hours, hundreds of daily records for cold temperatures were broken as Arctic air pushed all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico. That's amazing. On Monday morning, ERCOT wholesale electricity prices for delivery surpassed the grid price, capped at $9,000 per megawatt hour, many multiples over the average cost of 25 megawatt hours. I pee in a bottle and dump it and reuse it for 4 days and then throw it away. I just want hold on. I'm going to pin that. Thank you. You just got the pinned message comment of the episode right there. I pee in a bottle and I dump it and I reuse it for 4 days and then I throw it away. Well, that sounds very sanitary. 8 hours driving through. Dude, I'm not going to get into this with you. I'm not going to get into it. I haven't driven truck in over a decade. I think it was what, 2007, 2008?
Mm-hmm.
12 years. It's been 12 years. All I'm saying is we kept perfect logbooks and we got shut down. If you're keeping honest logbooks and you're non-stop running, I'm curious. But at the same time, I'm not that curious to read it right now. I think that God has plans for us, just waiting for him to reveal his plan. That's funny. We got a foot of snow, and just the other day. Nice. That's because you're all used to it. People always ask why I moved to Phoenix. I tell them, you don't have to shovel sunshine. You don't slip on sunshine either. And living in Wisconsin for 10 years, in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, if you were curious, just north of Milwaukee, south of Green Bay, the foot of the lake. That's why it's called Fond du Lac. That sucked, bro. I mean, I slipped every year. Every single year, at least once, maybe more. A lot of the times, really hurting myself in the process. I remember one time we were looking at an apartment to live in, and there was a big step going out of the apartment with a sidewalk that was slanted downwards because we were kind of up on a hill. So here's the sidewalk going up, then the steps, which were really steep, and then the first part of the house, or the apartment. Coming out of that, I slipped on the steps that had iced over and fell down to the sidewalk, screwing. Oh, dude, I was hurting. I hurt bad, and I was big. Maybe I don't slip as much now that I'm a little lighter, but I'm not looking forward to it. Mike Lindell says cancel culture backlash has actually helped MyPillow's business. He's been a staunch ally for former President Donald Trump, has said the recent criticism he's facing for continuing to support Trump has actually helped his company. We've actually increased sales. We're actually up in sales. Our shipping is behind, he said, Epic Times. MyPillow was pulled from shelves from several major retailers last month, including Wayfair, Bed Bath & Beyond, Kohl's, because of his recent election darfing allegations. Lindell originally said he didn't blame the companies for pulling his products, but he clarified this week that their decision to cave to the mob is just as bad as the mob's behavior. I've been with them for years, and this is And they're the ones that suffer because now those customers are buying directly from me, my pillow, he said. So our business is up. Lindell has refused to back down, releasing a 3-hour-long documentary last week that allegedly proves that high levels of DARFing took place during the 2020 presidential election. Oh, I'm watching that. I'm absolutely watching that. The film has been banned on YouTube. I'm not watching it on YouTube and Vidmo. And Google has prevented Lindell from buying ads for the film. We're going to get it out in spite of them all. And then our whole country, everybody needs to see this. This isn't a political thing. He says everybody should be concerned that it's just terrible. My Pillow also faces a new competitor, Good Pillow, a company launched by gun control activist David Hogg in response to Lindell's election DARFing claims. Oh my goodness. David Hogg is now going to have the Good Pillow company? My goodness. However, Lindell says he isn't worried. Good for them, he said when asked about Hogg's new company. Nothing wrong with competition that doesn't infringe on somebody's patent. And I'm going to get to this real quick and we're going to wrap it up. The effort to squeeze the silver shorts may appear to have fizzled, but naked short sellers are as vulnerable as ever. Silver future prices are entering backwardation. That's bad omen for anyone betting on lower silver prices. Backwardation happens very rarely, but this condition has been a reliable indicator that higher prices are on the way each time that it has occurred over the past decade. So get your $27 an ounce silver now. I don't even care if you have to pay $30 for it. But a lot of people won't. But here we go. In the future, where did I see? In the future market, silver prices generally go up based on how far away the delivery month is. Most of the time, prices for future delivery are higher than today's spot price, i.e., the price for delivery now. There is a cost of carry, primarily driven by storage fees and opportunity costs of funds when it comes to holding physical silver bars. One way to think of it is that sellers build in the cost of storage to the price, and buyers of future contracts must agree to pay increasingly higher prices the further into the future they wish to take delivery. However, with all that said, the silver market isn't functioning normally at the moment. The higher prices being paid for delivery of bars today is an indication of a short supply. I know when I go get silver, he is almost out. I actually sold, I think, $61 worth of Constitutional. I did $61 of Constitutional. Hold on. Let me look this up. $61 of Constitutional divided by $1.40 is 43 and a half ounces. 43 and a half ounces of silver I gave up for a pretty much an ounce of gold, which is pretty good. I think I did really well with that, to be honest. It also may imply that investors don't have much confidence that they will be able to get delivery later. If investors felt sure the bars would be there, they could simply buy the futures contract for the lower price and stand for delivery. But the market's participants are weighing the risk of delivery defaults on cash settlements more heavily. Many are paying up to get bars now for a variety of reasons. Periods of backwardation in precious metals are relatively rare. The chart below shows just 3 periods of silver backwardation in the past decade, as well as one happening now. In each case, sharp higher prices were needed to resolve the shortage. Okay. Price backwardation is not the only evidence of tightness in the physical silver supply. There is more unusual activity involving the iShares Silver Trust, SLV. The exchange-traded fund reporting more than 3,000 tons of bars were added earlier in the month. Skeptics find it hard to believe that the SLV was actually able to find that much metal available for delivery so quickly. Well, they didn't. It's paper silver. It's about as worth as much as paper money. Now, even those who trust the ETF's reporting should think twice. SLV altered its prospects on February 3rd, ratcheting up concerns about whether the trust actually has the silver it claims. I doubt it does. On the 3rd of February, the day after the huge 3-day inflows into SLV and the addition of 3,000 tons, the iShares Silver Trust changed its prospects, adding in 3 paragraphs as follows, including: the demand for silver may temporarily exceed availability supply that is acceptable for delivery to the trust, which may adversely affect an investment in the shares. It is possible that authorized participants may be unable to acquire significant silver that is acceptable for delivery to the trust for the insurance of the new baskets due to a limited then available supply. Meanwhile, Bullion Vault reports COMEX silver stock prices are at a 4-year low. They are down 30% from the high of 140 million troy ounces in 2007. This creates a new risk for bullion banks and others who have been feverishly selling silver futures over the past 2 weeks. In recent months, the numbers of people standing for delivery of the metal on their future contracts has spiked. So all these people who had the paper silver now want the physical silver, and there's a little bit of a run on the bank. They've already sold that. They didn't have it. If that trend continues in March, which is the next delivery month, it may be a bigger come to Jesus moment than the shorts had in March of 2020. Silver prices had been resilient in the face of extreme selling, unlike a year ago, and this time there will be even less silver available for shorts to round up and deliver. Very interesting. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong at OMG. Hold on, what's this? I think their logs are digital now. Yeah, they are. Hog's Pillow is supposed to be called Our Pillow, is it? I slipped in my driveway last winter with all ice and downhill, landed on my shoulder and back and my head. Wife asked if I was okay. I said, I think I am okay. This is going to hurt tomorrow. I don't want to do it anymore, Gerald. I don't want to be where snow is. I'm thinner. I am thinner, but I have broken ankles. I have broken ribs. I have broken arms. I'm tired of slipping and falling. I really am. I don't want to do it anymore. If I live in a place where it snows, I'm going to have a summer house. That's just how it is. I'm going to snowbird it. I would love to see Maine. Absolutely love to see Maine. I want to go there. I've never been there, even in a truck. I've been in a lot of places that 1 year of driving truck, I got to a lot of places and saw a lot of things I never thought I would. And that was great. I absolutely loved it. But I didn't get to see Maine. I would love to see Maine and go to the wharfs, and I think that's what they're called, and all that. I'm not into seafood. Riddle Girl is, though, so I'm sure she would absolutely love that. Mm-hmm. Right? And so there you go. One of these days, Riddle, remind us to have a foods that may or may not be a sin to eat.
Okay.
I'm going to blow your mind, OMG. I'd say most of the things that you eat on a daily basis is no better for you than vaping. In fact, worse for you than vaping. It's biblically proven and technically can be seen as a sin as well. I wouldn't say technically it's the whole body. Your body is a temple. If you're basing your vaping and your smoking back in the day as a sin because you don't poison your temple, the food you eat is also poisoning your body. That's why there were rules on what you could ingest and what you shouldn't ingest. Now, there's exceptions to the rule. Jesus did say that if you're invited to somebody's house and they're serving you something that is unclean, you are to pray over it and he will bless that and you are okay to eat it. He says that because he doesn't want you to make them offended. Can you imagine if I go to Joyce's house and they cook us a ham dinner for Christmas, which they did. If I said, no, I don't eat ham, it's a sin. What does that do? Well, Jesus says, I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to pray over it, pray that it'll bless my body, and he will provide it. Why? Because I'm not supposed to offend her by saying I won't eat this because it's unclean meat. Something that she worked hard to do for me, to be nice to me. You see, there are a lot of things like that, and you need to be okay with that part. But that's it on that. Not supposed to eat bacon. That's right. You're not supposed to eat pork. You're not supposed to eat shellfish. Let's see. If it has a hoof and chews its cud. Right? That's for the mammals. A fish has to have scales and fins. Catfish don't. Alligator definitely don't. Most fish that people like to eat don't. And shellfish, oysters, lobster, clams, crabs, all of that. All that's bad. They're all bottom feeders. You are what you eat. They eat shit on the bottom of the ocean. You eat them. You're eating their shit. It's health stuff. It goes into the whole, your body is a temple. Don't poison your temple. However, at the same time, if you think that way and you're getting invited to your friend's house, as I said, and they make you something, you're supposed to bless it. Anyway, that's the last thing I'm going to say on that. The bottle is 1 gallon and 1 out Pine Sol. Spray it Lysol on it daily. You're not blowing my mind. I already know. All right, cool. I broke most of the bones in my body years ago on a motorcycle accident. Was in a coma for a month, 65 to a dead stop. That sucks. Better than throwing picks, bottles in the ditch and in the parking lot. Pick bottles? You talking about piss bottles? That's disgusting, bro. It's disgusting. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you very much for joining me here for the evening catch-up. To anybody out there that's dealing with a whole bunch of shit, just know you got my thoughts and my prayers, and I hope you all stay tough, stay strong, and get ready for whatever comes. And until then, keep your family close. Watch out for that government and try to live as free as you can in the tyrannical world we find ourselves living in. Thank you, little girl, and God bless. And we will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern. Peace.